Hello, in this video we're going to look at a price floor in an agricultural market to examine the welfare effects. So here is our agricultural market. Maybe this is the market for soybeans. The competitive price is $5 per unit and the competitive equilibrium quantity is 5. If the government institutes a price floor at $7, the quantity demanded is 3 and the quantity supplied is 7. And what will happen here is that the government will buy up the surplus soybeans, 7 minus 3 or 4 units of soybeans. So at a price floor of $7, consumers will buy 3 units, the farmers will produce 7 units, and that difference then, that excess supply or surplus of soybeans, will be purchased by the government at $7 per unit. Let's look at now the welfare effects. So we'll first start with no price floor. That's when the price is $5 in the market and the quantity, equilibrium quantity, is 5. CS, consumer surplus, will be the difference between the height of the demand curve and the market price of $5. So it's going to be that area which encompasses A, B, and C, okay, right up to that last unit consumed. So that's consumer surplus. Producer surplus will be the difference between the market price and the supply curve or marginal cost curve up to the last unit sold. So we have area D and E encompassing producer surplus. Since the government is not in the market here, I'm just going to put a 0 for the government expense. They're not buying any surplus crop. In fact, there is no surplus at the competitive equilibrium. So the total economic surplus or welfare in this market is just the sum of consumer surplus and producer surplus, A, B, C, D, and E. All right, let's move to the situation of a price floor. With a price floor, the price is higher. Consumers will be worse off. They're not going to buy as much of the product. So consumer surplus here shrinks to area A. And we can see here consumers lose consumer surplus. They lose area B and C. So consumers are no longer getting area B and C as consumer surplus under the price floor. So consumers are made worse off by the price floor. In terms of producer surplus, it's going to be the difference between the price floor, this $7, and the supply curve. So this entire area between the $7 and the supply curve up to the last unit sold by producers, which is 7. So it looks like we have area B, C, D, E, and F. That will be producer surplus, this big giant triangle here. B, C, D, E, and F. So producers gain. They gain area B, they gain area C, and they gain area F. Okay, so without a price floor, we didn't see area B, C, or F there, but they do appear now. So producers are made better off by the price floor. In terms of the government expenditure for this program, the government is buying 7 minus 3 units and is paying a price of $7 per unit. So it's going to be this entire rectangle. And indeed, the area of this rectangle represents government expenditures. So 7 times 4. In terms of letters, it's C, E, F, G, and H. Okay, so this rectangle is the government expenditures. So we went from no expenditures now to C, E, F, G, and H expenditures. So that's the change in this last column. Overall, we can see with the price floor, total economic surplus is lower. So here's the total surplus here. Under the price floor, without the price floor, total surplus is here. So in terms of the change, we are losing area C. We are losing area E, and plus we're gaining a couple areas which are negative because they represent government expenditures, G and H. So overall, there is a reduction in economic surplus. The A and B, they just cancel here. They show up in both columns, so you don't see that here as being part of the change. So another way we can look at this is this loss in consumer surplus of minus B minus C gets picked up by producers, so that's a wash. There's still this minus C here, so that appears down here. There's this minus E that doesn't get canceled out. This plus F and minus F get canceled out, but minus G and minus H don't get canceled out, so that also represents the change. So overall, consumers are worse off. Producers are better off. The government is worse off. There's this expenditure here. This money could have been spent on something else. The benefits to the producers are less than the cost to the consumers and the government. So although the producers gain, their gain doesn't outweigh the losses to the consumers and the government. Thus, we have a deadweight loss, and the deadweight loss area is C, E, G, and H in the diagram. C, E, G, and H represents the deadweight loss. One thing to note here, the deadweight loss does not account for the administration costs for the program. So there's going to be government officials and bureaucrats administering this program. What is the government going to do when they buy this crop? They're going to store it. They can't sell it back on the market. That would suppress the price. So those are going to be storage costs associated with this program. Okay, I hope you found this video helpful.